Hello everyone, welcome to today's video and a very warm welcome to also all the not only the existing members but also the members who are new to this channel. Very warm welcome again, and please like, share, subscribe for more such videos that I post on different topics, mostly around EDI integration, cloud technologies, cloud native MFT technologies, right? Now, having said that, in today's video, what I'm going to do is I actually have a very good friend of mine, a colleague as well. And he is also used to be a Sterling integrator, developer, architect, working alongside with me in different projects. And he actually created few nice tutorials on Sterling Integrator on different topics like mapping and mostly around mapping, business process development. So I thought, let me do one quick thing. Let me take that liberty of introducing a mapping session that he has actually covered quite a few years back, and wanted to give you a sneak peek of the introduction to mapping through his video, right? I hope this video will be very useful because he has gone in very depth to explain in very simple language, and those who are pretty new to mapping and wanted to learn more about mapping would really benefit from his such nice mapping session. So without further ado, the next portion of today's video would be a video that he recorded on the mapping session. Hope you like it. And I wanted to hear from you any feedback, comments on the session that he has taken in this session. All right. With that, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
Okay, so in today's session, we are going to discuss about mapping. Okay, and from today, we will see how we use the map editor for the data transformation. Okay, so what is the data transformation and why it is required? Once we understand that, then only we will able to understand what is the significance of map editor or what is significance of mapping, right? So in SI, I mean, what happened to this? It's not working. So so far we have learned what all transport capabilities Sterling Integrator or SFG provides, right? And from today we will discuss about its data translation or transformation capability. Okay, so before we go into that topic, let's understand that what is the use of data translation, and or why we need data transformation. Okay, to understand this, say suppose in your organization, okay, you have Sterling Integrator or SI installed. Okay, then you have an internal system, mainframe system or SAP system, which communicate with SI for the data, and SI is your middleware, right? Then you have external client, right? External partner. You have external partner who send data to SI, and then SI eventually send the data to SAP, right? Now, I'm not going to discuss about the WART protocol and all other details because we have discussed about that a lot. Okay, So with our current understanding, we know we will able to enable our external partner to send data to SI, or in one of the mailbox in SI, right? Now, in real time, there is one more challenge. Okay, and that challenge is, consider your external trading partner send data, or has only capability to send data in XML format. Okay, has capability to send data only and only in XML format. Okay, so but your internal system, SAP system, right? It needs data in EDI format, right? Or say suppose positional format, right? Then how this communication will work? Even if you enable some protocol and you enable this partner to drop the file, XML file, in one of the mailbox in SI, it will not help if you send this XML data directly to SAP system, because for SAP that is just garbage, right? Because SAP need the data in EDI format. Okay, it need the data in the EDI format, or it need the data in positional file format, or some other format. Okay, or maybe in XML format only, but different structure, right? Then how you will deal with this kind of situation, right? So you get XML data, your partner sends you XML data, right? This is your XML data. This data is, I mean, you have the information, but that information is of no use, because it cannot be consumed by your end system. Okay, it's like, I mean, I know that you have a lot of knowledge, right? But you understand only Chinese, or you speak only Chinese, right? Now, I know you have the knowledge, I know you have the information, but I cannot consume it because I understand English only. I don't know what Chinese is, right? So if that is the scenario, in this real world scenario that I'm talking to you, you understand Chinese, you speak Chinese, but I understand English, or I speak only English. In that case, we need a translator, right? We need a translator, or a person who can convert whatever you speak in the Chinese into English. If that can happen, then only the information that you have will be useful to me, right? So your map editor is that translator. Your map editor is that middleman that has capability to translate Chinese into English, or Hindi, or Tamil, or Telugu. Okay, and the map editor can translate vice versa as well. So when you will speak in English, it will translate that into Chinese, and it will and then we will use something to send it back to the Chinese person, right? So this translation is very important. Okay, so your map editor is the tool where we will be writing the rule that how the syntax of Chinese need to be translated or converted into English. Okay, so map editor where we will be writing the map, but this translation facility is important because it will translate your data from one format to another format, right? So in this case that I was trying to explain you here, this your external client will send the data in the XML format, but in SI you have a translator, right? You have a translator. What this translator will do, this translator will take this XML data. Okay, it will take this XML data and it will produce EDI file or the positional file that your SAP likes or that your SAP wants. Okay, so this is the use of the translation, and this is very important in from the from middleware standpoint, right? Because most of the time I have seen that data translation uh, with most of the file. Okay, and it will happen not only for the inbound files or inbound traffic, it happens for the outbound traffic or outbound files as well. Okay, so your SAP system, say suppose, sends data in the EDI format, right? You need to send that file or data to your external partner, but he's saying that they need XML data. They need the data, but only and only in XML format because they do not have any capability to translate or convert that data into XML. So again, what you have to do, you have to use some translation. You have to use the translation capability of SI. So SI will take the EDI data, right, and it will translate that data into XML. And after converting that information and data into XML, it will be sent to your external partner. So this is how this thing works. Okay, and this is what translation do. Your translation component of SI can be utilized in your in running your business. Okay, now for this translation to happen, you have to use the map editor, and using the map editor you will be writing the map. So writing the map means in the map you will be defining the rule that how your Chinese or how your XML need to be converted into the EDI or in the English. Okay, so in your map editor you will be writing that rule. Okay, so now we will see in detail that how this mapping concept work and how we do the translation. But before that, okay, let's take a simple example, and today we will try to solve that simple hello world kind of application or hello world kind of problem in the map editor. Okay, so if you remember, in our first session we wrote a hello world business process, and that is how we started. Similarly, in today's session we will try to write a hello world uh, map, right? And we will see how to install the map editor and how to do the very basic things in the map editor. Okay, how to run a map editor, how to deploy it, things like that. Okay, okay. So for this activity, say suppose you have an external partner, okay, who sends you XML data, okay, who sends you XML data. When I'm saying to you, it means to Sterling integrator. Hmm? And for now, I will explain. I'm going to explain lot of concepts, okay, or every single concept, every single step that can, or every single feature of your map editor. Okay, so I will be explaining all those things using the XML, right? Because the concept, the looping concept, write how to write the if condition, loop condition, and all those things are similar in all file formats. Okay, so I will take one file format, okay, and then I will explain all the concepts, and then we will implement the same concept in different or other file formats as well. Okay, so to start this thing or to write our hello world application, let's first convert or translate a hello world application. Okay, so say suppose you have your external partner uh, who sends you an XML data, okay, and he sends you XML data something like a, okay. Inside a, I hope you understand XML, okay. So in XML we have tags. We call these things as a tag, or we call these as elements, okay. Each tag start with uh, like this, okay. I mean the greater than sign, I mean, sorry, less than sign, greater than sign. Between the less than and greater than sign, you will be writing the name of the tag. So this becomes the name of the tag, or we call it as element. Okay. If a if an element is start, that element end as well somewhere. Okay. So say suppose like this. Okay. So this is one XML element or XML tag. Between these two tag, okay, between these two tag, you can write a text data, right? So this is a tag which is containing information called the hello, or say suppose this tag is called username, right? So this will contain the name of the user, something like this, username jp, something like this, right? This is, so this is start tag, and this is end tag, XML tags, right? Similarly, you can have, sometime you will see these tags or these elements contain other XML elements, right? Something like this, user slash user and, sorry, users, users, okay. Then inside this user tag we have user, user, age, age, right? This guy will contain the text data or the information, right? So this is, and this thing is, this is basic principle that if a tag start, that then that tag ends as well somewhere. If that tag is not ending, then your XML is not correct, okay. So something like this. So it will keep going, okay. And In this case, this becomes parent tag and this becomes child tag, or all these are the child tag of users tag, users element. Then there is something called the attributes. Okay, so attributes are nothing but it provides further more information about a element or about a tag. Okay, so how we write the element? We write the element something like this. So suppose you user and then lang, like this. This is also valid actually. So we call this as an attribute, and this is your tag, right? So this is also valid XML. If you want, you can write some text data here, but if your requirement is something different, you can also create other tags inside this parent tag. Okay. So these are the valid examples of XML. So this is how our XML looks. So now let's go back to our example. Say suppose this is the scenario. Huh. You have an external client who sends you XML data, right? And that XML is, say suppose, something like this. A, this is your normal a tag and share, right? Inside A, you have B, and the value of B is hello, right? And then you have C, C. This is the XML data that your client sends, right? But your XML system, but your internal system or your SAP system need this information, but in a different format, right? But this time your file format is not different. File format is same. So suppose your file format is still XML, right? But file structure is different. XML structure is different. Okay, XML structure is different. So your SAP need the same information but in different structure. So suppose that is a structure is something like this X, okay. Inside X you have Y. Y has a attribute called name, okay, and then value of Y, something like this, okay. So your SAP system need this hello in this attribute, okay, and this value of B will go in the attribute, or the value of C will go as a value of Y tag. So here you need to have hello. Okay, so in fact, actually, if you see, this is called the mapping. I am saying value of b need to go in the name attribute of y, and the value of c need to go as a text value of y element, right? This is also mapping. Here it will be hello world. Right. So this is our task for today. We want to translate this XML format into this XML format, right? So in this case, right, your file format or your file structure for the input and output is same, but data structure is different. In the input you have XML, right? In output also you have XML, right? But the structure of XML is different. In that case also you have to use the mapping component of SI. In other scenario, you may have a different scenario where you will be asked to translate this XML into a EDI file, or translate this XML into a comma separated file, or translate this XML into positional file. That can also be scenario, right? And but there are a lot of concepts. If you learn that in a simple XML way, you can easily implement in other file formats as well in no time. That will be easy, simple. Okay, guys. So today this is what we are going to do, and we are going to call this as the Hello World application. In order to run this Hello World application, you're going to learn a lot of things, right? So let's see how we work with the map editor in SI. So the first thing first is we have to install map editor, right? If you want to use the if you want to do the mapping, you need the map editor, and to get the map editor, you have to install the map editor. So let's see how we install map editor. To install the map editor, you have to go to the deployment. Okay, then you have to click on the maps. Okay, on this screen, uh, on the top you can see map editor can be installed on these languages: en English, Japanese, es I do not know what is that, and fr is I think French, right? So whatever language you understand, right, you click on in front of it, it will it will download a exe file, right, which is a normal Windows exe file. Once that file is downloaded, okay, you just double click on it, okay, to install the map editor. Got it? I mean, once you download it, an exe file, you have to install it as you install any other software in Windows. Okay, and one more thing, this map editor can be run only on the Windows, right? It cannot be run on the Unix system or the Linux system. Your SI server itself may be running on the Windows or Unix, but your desktop has to be map Windows in order to use this map editor. Okay, you click on it, you will get the installation wizard, and just click on next. I will install the it will install the map editor, right? But obviously, if you want to change few things, you can change it as per your requirement. But I do not know why you will do it like this one, where your map editor will be installed. If you want to change, you can change it. But I will leave it blank, default. So you just click on next, next, next. Uh, so if you do that, this is what you will see, and you can see that installer is installing map editor in my system. Now click on the finish. Okay. So to start the map editor, go here, all programs, right? And then click on the map editor. Okay. This will open the map editor application on your desktop. Okay. So guys, this is the map editor. This is the map editor application. Got it? And you can use this to develop map. Okay. Now let's create that hello world application, hello world map, and we'll see a couple of things. We'll learn couple of things uh, in order to run that. Okay. Now to create a map in the map editor, you have to click on the file, then you click on the new. Okay. First, what kind of map you are creating? This tool provide support for different other products of IBM. Okay. But because we currently right now we want to use this tool, map editor tool, to create a map that will be deployed on Sterling integrator. So in the first field, you will always select Sterling B2B integrator. Second field, what is the name of map? So this is where you will be writing the name of map. Okay. So the name of map is hello world. Okay. Second, what is your name? This is the name of author. Okay. You can write anything, whatever you want, right? It does not have any business significance, right? But it just tell that who is the developer of this particular map. Okay. So you can write whatever name you want here, but by default this is name of your Windows user. Okay. From which you are logged in, or this Windows user from which this your map editor is installed. Okay. Next, click on next. Now there are multiple ways. Okay. There are multiple ways to create a map. Okay. First one is create a new data format using this standard. So you can see we have these standards. So what is standard and how it is used, we'll talk about that later. Okay. Second, load the data format from a saved definition. Now what is this? We'll check about this. Okay, maybe today only. Come in the last option. Create new data format. It's saying read carefully. Okay, create new data format using this syntax. Which syntax? This. Your map editor in Sterling integrator support these type of file format. It supports these type of file format: XML, variable delimited, Swift, SQL, and positional, and all these. Okay, but today our requirement is, what is our requirement? We will get some data in XML format, and we need to translate that data again in the XML format. So our file format is XML. Okay, so here I have to select the XML. Got it? If you look at this wizard, you will see it says input format. Okay, once you enter the name of the map and other details that appears on the first screen, and you click on the next, in this screen you will be asked to provide input format. Okay, see, if you are creating a map, right, you have to have two formats, right? Two parties have to involve. Input, this is your input, this is your output, right? This is Chinese input, this is English output. Got it? So this is your input format. Click on next. Now, I mean, when I started learning this tool some 8 year back, right? It was literally very confusing for me. That why I'm entering the same information twice, right? Once you type the name of map, you select some information on this field, and once you click on the next, you will be asked to provide the same information again, right? But there is a difference. The difference is, first you provide the information of your file format for the input side, then you provide the file format of your output side. So this one is XML again. Okay, click on next and then finish. Once you click on the finish, a up editor opens. Okay, okay, this is actually your map editor. Okay, and this is a file. Okay, like your, for the English you have Microsoft Word is editor for the English. Similarly, and you create a file to write your stories or your comments and whatever you want. In the same way, this is the map editor, right? And you just now created a file, right? And because it's a map file, right? Because it's a mapping file, it has to have input side and the output side, input side and the output side, right? Fortunately or unfortunately, in our case, my input side format is XML and the output side format is also an XML. So this is what you can see, right? Input, output. You got it? Okay. Hmm. Now, on this side, you will start defining your input structure. On the output side, you have to define your output structure. Once your input structure is ready, your output structure is ready, you can go ahead and start doing the mapping, right? Mapping, where you will define how the input should be converted into the output. But before you do that, you need to have a structure, input structure and the output structure. Okay. If you remember, input structure should be look like this. Means In the input structure, expectation is you will have a tag called the A, right? Then inside the A tag, you will have a tag called the B. B tag will have capability to hold the data. Similarly, A another child of B A will be C, and C will also have capability to hold the data, right? So let's create the input structure, and you see how I'm creating it. A, A, okay. This is my A element or A tag. Inside this A tag, I have another element called the B. B. Do you see this? This is what I have B. Hmm? This is a B element, a B tag, right? I mean, see, I could take another file format, another XML, some complex uh, example of item master or price master or some EDI format, and I could explain this to you. But that does not make sense because for me, you do not know anything in the map editor. This is the first time you are going to look at the map editor. So I have to explain you in a most simplest way and simplest way which is possible on the earth. Okay. So that is why I have taken this waste weird example. Right. In your life, entire life, you will never see this. But there are a few basic concepts. To understand this, or to understand those concepts, you have to learn this way. Okay. Hmm? So you got A and you got B, B element like this. Now the important thing is B element can hold a text value, right? B element can hold a text data. So how you will do that? To create an element, you need to create or you need to select the element. Okay. If your element holds or has capability to hold data to indicate or to denote that to indicate that we create PC data in map editor. Okay, we create PC data like this. Okay, once you click on the PC data, it will ask you, okay, you want to create a bucket or something that will hold text data value. Okay, so if that is the case, tell me about it. Okay, so in this field, I mean in this scheme there is, I mean, lot of things that we'll discuss later. Okay, but for now, say suppose 50. So minimum length that can be stored in this is something between 0 to 50. It cannot hold more data or whose length is more than 50. Okay, so this is, if that is what I want to define, then this is, you have to define in the map editor. Okay, click on OK. Got it? So once we did this, or once we do that, we have completed this part, B part. Now come to the C. Create sub. Now the C element is a basically child of A, right? It's not the child of B, right? So if you create the sub element, if you click do like this, create sub element, then C will become, or the next element will become the child of B. You do not want to do that. We want to do insert, right? Insert element. Which element? C element. Or tag with the value C. Or sorry, with the name C. Now here you can see A is the parent, becomes the parent tag. A have B tag and the C tag. Okay. So this is how you will create C. So C element is ready. C again has capability to store text data. So how you will do? Create sub PC data 50 like this. Okay. Once you do this, I will say your input format is ready for the testing. I will say your input format is ready. Now, in the same way, I also have to create output format as well. So my output format says X. Inside X, I have Y, and then Y has an attribute called the name, and Y will hold the text data. Property, here you will get Y. Okay. Sub element X. Sorry, it was X. X will have Y. Y. Okay. This is your Y. Okay. Y has attribute. Okay. Name of attribute is name. Name. Type is C data. Page length is okay, and 50 is string. Okay. So it has a attribute, and it also has a PC data which will hold the actual value like this. Okay. So this is what? This is my output format. This is input format. This is output format. Got it? This is input format, right? And this is output format. Simple. So if you follow this kind of pattern, you can create complex to complex XML structure. Okay. But actually you do not have to create XML structure like this. There are other ways to create structure, right? So the XSD or DTT or some other ways, right? I mean, I don't think you ever have to create XML structure, but you need to know if you ever have to, then how you will do. Because if you know that, it will make your life very easy, and it will help you understanding lot and lot of concepts. Hmm? So now to start with, my input and output format is ready, right? This is my input format. This is my output format, right? Now time to do mapping. Now it's the time to do mapping. Okay. Mapping is the process in the map editor where we link input side to the output side, and we write the rules, condition, and all other things. That basically determine how input data should be translated to output data. Okay. In SI, mapping is very simple, right? To do or to start mapping, you just click on this icon that says toggle link mode. Click on this, and you first select the input side which you want to link to output side with which you want to link the input side. Okay. So value of B need to go to where it need to go. So value of B need to be the attribute value of Y, right? See, this is the value of B. It need to be the value of attribute. So I will start click on this input side link, and then I will click on here. This is how I have to do, right? Because I want the value of B to go in the attribute value of Y, which is name. Similarly, value of C need to become the value of Y, right? That's it. This is the mapping. So you created the input format, you created the output format. Now you just now accomplish the mapping as well. Wow, it was easy, right? File, save. Next thing is you need to save your file. Okay. So we completed the one step. Now we are moving to the step number 2. Save the file. Okay. Okay. So what I just now did is now this is my source code. This is my source map. SI map editor allow you to save the source in two format. Okay, dot map and other is dot mxl, right? I was not able to save my source code. Source code means input side and the output side in mxl format because I do not have a I mean to save the so map editor source code in .mxl, you need a .NET XML package installed in your system. If you do not have that installed in your system, you cannot save the your map in the .mxl. But does not matter, right? So you can always save your map in .map format. So because I do not have that specific .NET component installed in my system, so I saved the source code of map in the .map format. Hmm? So this is what you see here, right? I'm no longer doing any mapping, so I will click on this again to come back to the non-mapping state. So you did a lot, right? So you install the map editor, you create the input format, create the output format, you have linked data as well. Now what next? Next is you need to compile this map. Okay, you have to compile this map. Okay, now how to compile this compile map? To compile map, you need to click on this icon, compile. Okay, you need to click on this option, compile. Right. Once you click on it, your map editor will tell you to choose the directory where you want to save the compiled map file. Okay, compiled map file. Okay, so right now I will select the default folder. Okay, right. When you compile your source code or your source map, your EDI editor or your map editor, okay, checks the or validate your source code. Validating the source code means it checks whether the code that you wrote in the map is correct or not. Okay, it does not run to check your business logic. It just checks the syntax error. Okay, syntax error means, I hope you understand the syntax errors, right? But if you do not understand the syntax errors means, if I take example of English, right? In English, there is a rule that says end of every sentence, right? You need to use dot or period, right? And if you're writing something and you want to give a small pause, you need to use comma. Okay, the spelling of hello is HELLO, right? But say suppose somebody do not, so when you compile your program, right, your compiler will check these kind of things, right? What kind of things? If all sentences are ending with the semicolon or I mean the with period or not, with the dot or not. If there is a small pause, it's ending with the semicolon or not. All the spellings are right or not, right? When you compile your program, this is what your compiler check, right? But now say suppose if somebody has forget to add this period or add the comma, or he has wrote wrong spelling of hello, then your compiler will give you error or generate a error stating you or telling you that there are some fundamental problem in your code. Your code cannot be compiled. But if you do not have any syntax error, everything you have written following all the basic principle of map editor or the language, then your code will be successfully compiled. Okay, so this is what compiling process uh, does in the map editor, right? And once again I will tell you, when I'm saying that it checks for the error, it does not run your map and it does not check any business logic. Okay, it does not, if I talk about in English language, your map editor does not or will not check that what you want to trying to say, right? If you are using any abusive language in your statement or in your sentence, map editor will not check that. It will not tell you that you should not use abusive language when you are sending email to your senior. It will not tell you that. But in that abusive language, if there is a spelling mistake, it will tell you that, right? So these type of error we call the syntax error. If you forget the semicolon, if you forget the comma, if you forget the period at the end of each sentence, the map editor will catch that and will tell you to correct it. If you once you resolve and or solve all the syntax errors in your program, your code will be compiled, right? When your code is successfully compiled, your map editor creates a .txo file for you. Okay, it creates a .txo file. Okay, and as you can see here, compiling loop A, compiling loop X, and then compilation completes, zero error and zero warning. Okay, this is what you want to see all the time, every time. Hmm? But if there were any error, it will show those error here on this screen. Okay, you can click on OK. So guys, what you just now did, hmm, you did a lot, right? You have compiled your code. So next step, next step is to run this code. Okay, actually your map code will be run in the Sterling integrator, right? It will be run in between a business logic in your business process, right? That is how it will be run in the real world scenario. But before you check in your code in Sterling integrator, right? Before you check in your code in Sterling integrator, you have to test, right? You have to at least run one or twice to make sure that your map is working as expected, right? You have to test it. You have to make sure that it is working or it's translating the data as expected, right? Now, to run this map, right? To run this map, you need input file format. You need the data, right? That will be translated to output format. You, then only your mapping thing will work, right? You have a data that you need to translate into some other format. That is the reason you did all this drama, right? Now your drama is complete. Now you want to test. So you want to test. If you want to actually run it, then we have to check in all this code, source file and the compile file and all those things in the SI. But before I check in the code in SI and run through my end-to-end business process, I want to test it. I want to do unit testing just to make sure that everything is working as expected, right? So to test this, you need an input file, input data, right? So now we need input input data. So let's create input data. Okay. In input data, I am expecting a tag called A, which is the parent tag. Inside the parent tag, I have B. I have a B. We will holding some text value. Then I will have C, and C will be holding some text value, right? Like this, B and then C, right? Okay, let's do that. B, hello, C, right? This is my input file. Got it? This is my input file. Input file is ready, and I'm ready to test my map. Okay, let's do that. To do that, you have to click on the map test. To do what? To test the map. Click on this. Okay. Next. Now, what is this? Okay. I will explain this. I will explain you in detail that what is the significance and why you are writing something like this. Okay. But for now, you just remember this is the IP address or the host name of your server or the machine where your Sterling integrator is installed. Okay, where your Sterling integrator is installed. I'm using localhost because my map editor and SI is running on the same system. I can also use 127.0.0.1, or I can also use the IP address of my system. Right? IP address of my system means 192.168.1.166. I can also use that here. Hmm? Next. Next is port number. Okay. Next is port number. Port number that you need to specify here is the port on which your map editor web service is running. Listen what I'm saying. This is the port number in your system on which your map editor web service is running. And now what is this? I will explain you tomorrow. Okay. By default, this port is calculated by adding 33 on your base port. Okay, by adding 33 on your base port. Now, what is the base port? Base port is the port number on which you access your dashboard. Okay, in my case, I access dashboard on port number 50,000. Right? So, map editor web service will run on 50,000 plus 33. So, it will become 50,033. So this is the reason and this is the story of this, right? But why this port? That is something very interested that we need to know, right? And we will know soon. Next, SI user ID password. Okay, because I use admin, I will use admin user ID and password is password. Okay, and come to the next field. Next field is translation object and data file. Now, what is a translation object? Translation object is .txo file. Now, what is the .txo file? From where you get this file? You remember we compiled our source code. This was our source code, right? Then we compiled it, and our compiler has done the syntax validation for us. If when he found and when he was happy, then he created, and there was no syntax error. Then he created a, then he compiled our source code and created a file with the file format .txt, and we call that file as a compiled map file. This is compiled map file. Okay. Remember, each time when you change something in the map, okay, if you change something in the map, you have to compile your map and generate a .txt file. Okay. Select this .txt. So in this field, this is what you have to provide. Come to the next. What is this? It says data file. Okay. In the real world scenario, when you will be running this map or this kind of translation, you have a we have a service called the translation service. Okay. Translation service takes the data from the primary document, right? But here you have to provide the data file, right? So let's go and select the data file. So I just now created the data file, and I think I created the data file here in the source map, right? So input file. Click on the input file like this. Okay. So I hope you understand all the fields here. Server name, uh, server address, user ID, password, then TXO file, and then your input file, right? Then click on the run test, right? Actively refused it. Okay. Why it refused it, I do not know. Let me try with this. Okay. So due to some reason, my SI is down. My SI is not running. Okay. My Sterling integrator is not running. So, I mean, in your case, when you will try, it will work. Okay, trust me, it will work. It's not working because my virtual machine, this SI is running in a virtual machine, and this virtual machine is almost dead. It has a very small amount of memory, and that memory gets filled up very fast, and then it stops working. Some error has happened. Okay, this is okay. Mail. So some error has happened in my system because of that. SI stopped working. So I'm trying to find out that what may be the error, and I'm not sure if I will restart this, it will work. Okay. Let me try to restart it. Okay, once. Okay, so I have restarted my system. Now let's try. Mm, Okay, so everything is selected already. Password is password, and this. Okay, click on run test. Okay. So now I want to tell you one more thing. This map, okay. So to test this map, we gave a input file, and then map editor uh, runs map against the input file, and it has successfully translated. Okay. Now, I just want to correct one thing. Actually, your map editor does not runs your map. Okay. Your map is basically run by Sterling Integrator always. Okay. Now, how it happens, I will explain you in the next session. Okay. There is a web service call, and then your map editor pass all your source map and TXO and the input file to Sterling Integrator, and then two things happens there. And uh, I will explain that concept as well. But if you see here in SI dashboard, okay, this service, this BP, sorry, okay, click on the current process and you will see this BP called the map test. This is the BP that has executed, okay, your map. Click on it, see, here is your data. Do you see this input file? And then this is HTTP server adapter, which has accepted all the data, and here is your response. That is after this BP has run the translator service, and then it has sent the response HTTP response back to your map editor. Okay, primary document. See here. Okay, but anyways, we will see this SI part again in the detail. But look at this. This is your translated output. Okay, translated XML output. Okay. Right now, see, everything is in one line. I do not like it. At least in case of the XML, I need a well formatted XML. So I make I change some property file, and again, see, I have changed a property right in the map editor, right? So I change this property. I'm asking it to create a proper intended XML output file for me, right? So I have to compile this file again, else my changes will not be reflected. Okay, it will not be applicable. So click on it, this compile option, and click on save, replace, and then okay. Okay, and now click on this, and then click on run again. Okay, so each time when you run the map editor, it opens this uh, web page. Okay, in this web page you will see if there is any runtime error. Okay, if there is any runtime error, but right now there is no error, so there is you do not see any detail here. This is the output file, or this is the translated file, and if you see, this is exactly what we are trying to achieve, right? Input hello, hello. This hello should go in the attribute of name, and the value of should go inside the as a value of y element. X, X, Y. Y has an attribute called the name. This is the value of name attribute, and this is your hello world. Okay. If you see the input file, you will understand it better. And where is my output file? Or did I close it? Ah, bad. Okay. Okay. So this is your input file. This is your output file. See, value of B has come in the has become the name value of name attribute, and the value of C has come in the come as a value of Y attribute Y element Y tag. Right. This is what we wanted to achieve, and this is my friend. This is hello world of map editor. Okay. So now from next session we will start looking into other important and advanced concepts, and I'm telling you I will be covering each and every single topic that is available in the map editor in detail, right? And we will be doing all practical sessions. We will implement everything, and I will explain you every single concept that is available in map editor. Okay. And because we are here, okay, let's let me tell you show one more thing uh, that is important, which is important, right? So that will cover our entire hello world program. So you saw how to create the map, how to compile it, and how to run that map in through the map editor, right? But if you want to run this map or this translation through a business process, in your business process somewhere you have to use translation service, right? Translation service, in the translation service you have to provide the name of your map, right? Now your translation service needs the txo file, I mean the compiled code and the source code of your map in the si. So friends, as we have learned how to and how we check in BPML code in the SI dashboard in Sterling Integrator, similarly we have to check in map code also in the SI dashboard in Sterling Integrator. Now let's see how to do that, how to check in the map. To check in the map code, you have to click on the deployment and then click on the maps. Hmm. Then click on this option, check in. Click on go. Hmm. In the first field, you have to click on the map file. You have to click on the browse option, and you have to select source code of your map. So the source code of my map is placed here, right? Hello world.map. Select this. Then it is asking you to select the compiled map. So compiled map is in the compile map folder. Okay, so you select this, txo file, hello.txo. Write a comment, click on next, and click on finish. This is how you will check in or deploy. If you do not understand check in, then you can consider as deploy. This is how you will deploy your map in SI dashboard in Sterling Integrator. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Let's meet tomorrow and we'll discuss other things. Okay. Okay, chalo.
Yeah, yeah.